Hi, everyone. I get to talk a little bit this week about our Bible reading plan in week 6 in the book of Daniel. Now, this week's readings mark this dramatic shift in the book of Daniel from some of the stories we've been reading, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Daniel in the lion's den, to now these more prophetic, apocalyptic visions. The point of the visions, though, and in this section of the book of Daniel, is really to pull back the curtain on the events of history to see the God who is in charge of it all. Now, I've always found it important to remember that Daniel and these other characters, they're in exile. They've been forcibly displaced from their homes, and they're living a life and in a land that is radically different than anything they've experienced, and they can't do anything to fix it. But instead of moping their way through this book of Daniel, kind of complaining and whining and maybe fixated on the news channels or in the latest social media threads for some sort of hope, we find them doing these simple acts of faithfulness because they trust in a God who is more than able to do anything that we can think or imagine. And that brings us to this week's readings. Daniel has these two different visions that leave him feeling sick and exhausted and confused. Daniel's not alone. Like when we read through these, we can feel a little confused as well. But one thing is really clear through the book of Daniel, and that is that God is present in our present, and God is accomplishing his ultimate purposes through the circumstances and situations of our lives. And we know this to be true because God is faithful. God is faithful to you. God is faithful to me. God is faithful to this world that he created. We know and we love a God who is for us, who is for you because he loves you. And he's for this world that he created. No matter how bleak our lives may seem, or the future may look, how radical the changes that are going on, we know that God can work in it all and through it all for our good because God is faithful. So this week, be encouraged. God sees you. God understands your circumstances and your situation. The way things are not the way things are always going to be. God is working in them for the good because God is faithful.